Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday morning mastermind call. Today, we have a topic that I get questions about every day, and it's a good topic to discuss, which is how should you price your items on eBay? Now, one of the most popular tweetables by my partner in the Facebook group Tech and Sports is, I'd rather have some of the money all of the time, meaning you don't ask all the money for the item. And I consider all the money for the item the full market value. Now, I guess that's open for definition, but full market value is not related to MSRP. I want people to kind of remember that. If an item says it's worth $100 and no one wants it, no one's looking for it, and it's not a style that people want, and it's not an object people want, it might be worth zero, even though the MSRP says 100. But we've seen items on eBay that retail for $100 and sell for $1,000 because there's more people looking for it than there are items available. So I consider all of the money the full market value. Like there's 10 people and you have an auction on eBay and everybody wants it. The maximum amount one person is able to pay, that's full all of the money. And according to the supply and demand chain, that would take the longest to sell in theory, because you'd have to get all the people who wanted to see it first. So now the question is, how should you price your items? Now, if an item is worth $1,000 and you price it at $10, it'll for sure sell quickly, but that's too low. So I want to ask everyone in the group your opinion on where do you want to price your items? Let's say an item, let's use an example of something that everybody knows what is something everyone knows the value of? Okay, let's use a $100 bill. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a dollar bill.
Okay, let's use a $100 bill. How would you guys price a $100 bill?
$95 plus shipping.
Okay. So
Or
what
maybe
is
I have to
shipping?
think about fees. It might have to be less than that. Or if my goal is just to sell things so I get feedback.
This is great. Those are great questions, Beth, because you have to ask a couple of things. What kind of $100 bill is it? Right? There are $100 bills that are worth 500. There are $100 bills that are worth 1,000. It depends on what it is. So
Chris, I would say it depends on how quickly I can get another $100 bill.
That also matters. How easy does it replace? So let me look right here. There are 3,500 $100 bills for sale. There's $500 bills. There's consecutive bills. Okay, here's one $100 bill that has 36 watches. It's $3,650 for just one $100 bill. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff here. This is graded, uncirculated. Interesting. So this is so funny. I tell people to niche down. Look at this person's username, collectibles currency. Okay, what do you guys think this person sells? 20,000 items sold, and they rank really well. I've never actually looked this up, but here, look at these bills. Every single one's over $100. So now this is funny to me. $299 shipping, right? Because clearly it's more than $299 for shipping. Let's see how this person ships it. Wow. Do you think this person really ships this first class mail? They might, but wouldn't you at least put this in a priority envelope? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Of course, that would go in a priority envelope. Of course it would. And yes, it does matter, I think. I think if you sell something that's a very high priced item, you at least need to have the opportunity or the ability to, automatically insure it, even if the insurance that you get is not what the item is valued. But at first class, you don't get that.
You can insure. You can insure on first class.
Yeah, I know, but at least if you forget, you could with priority. You at least got something.
You
So-
you didn't get $3,000 though, or whatever.
No, but it's at least something, right?
So
You know,
this is also interesting because $3, I believe, does not cover first class shipping either, right?
I don't
No.
think so.
No. In fact, the reason why these bills are so much, number one, they're graded bills.
Yep.
66 is almost in perfect condition.
Yep.
And these are star notes, which are replacement notes for the, that one is not a star note, but several of them were, where they took the original bill out of circulation and now reprinted it with that serial number, and it has a star after it. So if you ever go to the bank and you get a note that's in pristine condition with a star after the serial number, like that one right
Yep.
there,
Mm-hmm.
it is worthwhile keeping, especially if they took it right off the pile. But no, it's not even close to covering. But you know what? I mean, what he's asking for them is that, he's just taking a little bit of a loss on the postage.
Yep.
And the other thing is, you're going to have to sign. The seller is going to have to sign for these because I think it's over the $250 threshold. So
You mean the buyer, right?
yeah, the buyer, excuse
Yeah.
me. Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah.
buyers. Yeah, definitely. So he's just using the thing as a loss leader with the shipping.
Yeah.
And eBay's
that's-
is $750 for signature.
Is
Thank
it-
you, Mandy. 750 is when they require signature confirmation. You might require it even on a $500 bill, a $500 purchase, depending on what it is, because that's so small and like maybe could be easily lost. So that yeah, it could be easily lost. So there's a lot of things that we can learn from this. One, there's people charging $3,500 for or more for. I'm sure there's even bills that are even more expensive. The star is the star at the end, I'm assuming, Carl.
Yes, that's correct, Chris.
Okay. So, and $299 doesn't cover the shipping, which is also the same with free shipping. Free shipping wouldn't cover the cost of shipping either. So you're welcome to price your shipping however you want to, but let me look here at the lowest, because we were talking about what is the lowest somebody would price it for. Let's go buy it now. Wow, can you sell fake currency? That's hilarious. Okay, but maybe it's a prop money. Okay, so let's see.
That's funny because what you searched and what I searched, did you search real $100 bill?
No, you search real?
I searched real, lowest to highest. Do it. And I'm curious to see if you got what I got.
Hold on one second. Let's check $100 bill and see if there is any. Okay, it looks like the cheapest one is this one at $115 plus $5 shipping.
I found one lower.
So before we went there, there's no real in the title.
Right.
On any of these. That's interesting though. That someone would type in real. Okay, let's do it.
Because someone typed in fake, I added real.
Okay. So we go real. Let me search lowest to high.
And
Is
see that
this
one
the
right
one-
there? It says it's a
114?
real, the one that's green, you don't know what it is. It says it's $100 bill, but then the next one, I see it, and that was the lowest one that I could see was a bill.
The
This
one on the
green
right?
thing is some other weird thing,
Okay.
because it benefits charity, and it's not a picture of a bill.
Okay. So not that. Because
Right.
we don't know what that is. Here's
Right.
the one. This is also, notice how notice how, this is wild. Look at this one. This one's promoted. So this listing right here is also promoted down here. And that's the first time I've seen the promoted listings on the bottom. That's interesting, right? These bottom two ones are promoted, but was this profitable? 115 plus $10 shipping. That's the lowest one.
No,
Wait, that's 125. Let's see.
the feedback's like 204. Yeah. And it
Wait,
says he sold 12, two. No, sold 12, two available.
let me see real quick. No, this one is cheaper. This one's 120 shipped, 120 shipped.
It's not interesting because if you search low to high, it didn't come up.
It
Also
shows up if
200.
you type in $100 bill, but not the real
Oh,
$100
real.
bill.
Okay.
So this person doesn't have any feedback. Maybe they listen to the podcast and they want to see if they can sell an item. See, okay, here's the thing. This is the best deal on eBay. Do you guys think this will sell?
Yes, eventually.
Yes?
Yeah.
Why?
Someone will buy it. You guys talk about it all the time. Someone will buy it. Might be a reason. Maybe they had that. Maybe they used that $100 bill on their very first date, and they're looking for that specific one. Who knows?
That's
Can
interesting.
you ship it internationally? I was thinking, could you ship it internationally and somebody wants it? I don't know.
Chris, in,
Yes, sir.
in the UK, we've got something a bit odd. We actually have a £100 coin, and they regularly sell on eBay for £75, which is under what they're actually valued at, and they're still a legal tender.
Wow. So that's interesting. That is really fascinating because, well, let's look. Okay, actually, we'll finish this conversation before we move on. But this, it's interesting that the lowest one that we've seen is 115. Let's use the sales calculator because everyone can use a different one. Let's go to eBay and let's use 115 plus $5. What is this? What does this cost to ship? $4 if you ship
Yeah,
it first class.
First class would be $4.
Okay, and let's assume it costs $100. He would lose 13 cents on this transaction. So this is a non-profitable listing, but maybe they're trying to get feedback, or maybe he did the math wrong. What do you think happened? You would go out of, I mean, you in theory would go out of business if you lost 13 cents every transaction.
Dare I say he stole the money?
No, why would you sell it and just not just use it?
Because it's marked, maybe they're marked bills and he's trying to launder it.
Wow, one at a time.
I watch too much TV, perhaps.
That would be, I don't know. That's interesting to me that this person did the math wrong. But this is the thing that's important because at first glance, $120 shipped, you wouldn't think you would lose money, right? That's $20 over 100. I don't know if this is going to sell or not, to be honest.
Hey, Chris, do you remember just a few pages back, you saw the one that was wrapped in green and it said 100 on it?
Mm-hmm.
They used the word Lego, Lego, in the title.
Yep.
Would that be a Vero because we're not talking about blocks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this, you can't say not Lego. Still, see, this is not really Lego.
Is that keyword spamming? And what happens if you do that?
Yeah, right there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be removed.
Chris, why don't you send a message to that bill person and ask them?
Why would I do that?
I want to know where their math came from.
Why would, oh, I guess. I was like, why would you want to know what that person's thinking? You don't want to know what tech's thinking?
Yeah, don't bother.
No. I'm saying, why would you wonder why someone who's pricing an item that's losing money is thinking? When you can, anyway. So anyway, the conversation today is how would you price an item? And it is interesting to me. And Neil said that they're £100. Okay. What am I looking for?
Yeah, UK £100 coin.
Should I use that symbol? Let's see, the pound symbol.
Yeah, use a pound symbol.
100.
100.
Oh wait, let me change it to this.
I just have one up here. Let's see if I can. All right. Right.
Try this. Oh, these are gold. Never mind. I mean,
so that there's a Big Ben silver coin, 100.
will you put a link in the chat when you find it?
Yeah.
The reason why that's interesting is because if it really is legal tender, then somebody in the UK could just buy all those coins and then go to the bank.
There is actually somebody who, I've heard of people who collect them up and then they will actually take them to a petrol station and then they'll fill their vehicles up and they're saving like £25 a time because they're buying it for, I mean, there's one here for £88. So they're buying it for £88, spending £100 and they're saving that extra money. And some of the companies actually complain, but it is actually legal tender.
I guess if people want to be a pain in the ass, that would be like going somewhere and paying in all $2 bills. Like, why would you do that? But I guess
because they're saving £25 a time.
Yeah. Okay. I would not do that. I would go to the bank and get normal currency and then use that to get gas. I don't know. Some places will charge you if you use coins. Like it's too inconvenient. But I guess that's like you owe somebody money and you're pissed at them, you pay them in pennies. It's still legal tender, I guess.
Well, there is actually coin limits that in the UK for small coins. Like I think you're only allowed to pay up to 40 or 50 pence worth in 5p pieces. There's a certain limits that you're allowed, but obviously with like £100 coin, I mean, you're only spending one at a time.
So what do you guys think? You want to price? So because this has been such a hard question because I don't even know after this conversation if I know how to price an item better or not. The only things I can think about are like, how fast do you want the item to sell? How desperate are you for feedback and for velocity? Because the cheapest $100 bill that we saw on eBay, I would never buy because that's not a good deal. 120 means I lose $20 every single time I buy a $100 bill. That's not a good deal. Unless I was collecting the $100 bill, then maybe that rare one with a hole missing out of the side I would get. But
what about things that people are likely to sell, like mall brand clothes?
Okay, let's use a mall brand.
That's a more realistic question for the majority of people. The other one is it's interesting, but unlikely I'm going to do it.
Okay, so let's talk about this. A Nike sweatshirt. What do you guys price a Nike sweatshirt at? Now, this is a good one because people will ask, which doesn't really matter, but how much did you pay for the item? Zach says he'd price a Nike sweatshirt at $22.85. Doesn't matter what kind it is. Like, it matters, I guess, if it's good.
Dry fit, or if it's thermofit, or if it's long sleeve or short sleeve, or how thick it is, or if it has spandex, or if it has a team on it, or if it doesn't have a team on it, or if it's vintage or it's not vintage.
So, man, the answers in the chat are interesting. I like to stick 20% margin. See, this is the part that doesn't make sense because let's say you want to make 20% on your money and you buy it for $1. Do you price your Nike sweatshirt at $1.20 plus shipping? Or is that too low? So doing it by margin doesn't work if your cost of goods is always different. It doesn't, that would not be a good way to price your items unless you're going like I don't know. I don't like pricing my items based on margin I'm looking for. Like Julie asked that on a question a few days ago. Like, how do I put in the calculator how much I need to price the item at to make $20? And that doesn't matter. Like that, you would price it however somebody would actually buy the item. So a Nike sweatshirt, very competitive. Let's actually look, because there's probably a lot. Nike sweatshirt. Also, Nike sweatshirt, Nike sweater, Nike hoodie, all going to pull up different things. Let's see here. Let's look at a used one, because every single person on earth can find a used Nike sweatshirt somewhere. So here we have on the promoted listings. Look at this thing, $29.88 plus $8.99 shipping. What do you guys think? Good deal. This person is top rated. That's $40 for a pre-owned green sweatshirt.
Bad deal.
Bad deal. Why? Okay, so let's assume we can only buy these eight sweaters, because these are the only sweatshirts. These are the only 8 that I see. Which one draws your guys' attention? Here's one on auction, or there's 2 on auction. One at $9.10 and one at $13.45 plus $6.25 shipping. Wow, that's I feel like that's not bad. Here's one for, oh, this is vintage for $50. Look at how crazy these are, all so different. Every single person is charging a different amount for shipping, except for these 2 people down here. These 2 people down here have free shipping. This person on the bottom left has $16 shipping. Wow, that's expensive.
So Chris, going back to like figuring out my profit, it's not a good idea to price according to what I want to make.
Hell no. Hell no.
Why?
I want to make $100. So I bought this $100 bill at the bank for 100. So I'm going to price it $246 because that's what I need to sell the $100 bill out to make $100 profit. That's a horrible, like, that doesn't matter. You want $100 for a $100 bill. The market doesn't care what you want for it. They pay what it's worth. On eBay, if you were,
okay. So the calculator I use has my break even price, right? Like if you want to break even, here's your price that you need to sell it at.
Yeah.
What would be bad about knowing what I needed to make my goal?
Because
like, and not necessarily that I would, what, say again?
It's irrelevant. That's why you wouldn't look at like for example,
I don't want to know how much money I'm making on each thing though.
You do want to know how much money you're making, but you don't
get to
you don't get to pick how much you make on it. The market does.
I see.
Yeah. So I see people asking that all the time. Like, I'm trying to price. Bill used to do that. Bill used to mark up all of his items as X amount. I mark all my items up double. That you would definitely have slow sales, because some items are way overpriced and other items way underpriced. Because like you paid $2 for something, you mark it up double to $4 when it's worth 12. That doesn't mark. That's why pricing is so difficult, because every single item is different. Every single item has a different sell-through rate. Every single item is, okay, look at this. This is important. None of these sweaters are the same. This top right one, I don't even know what color it is because of how weird the picture looks. What color is this? No idea. So we have 8 sweaters here that are completely different, all different price points.
Well, I would next hit sold. Why don't you hit see what's sold and with the same search?
Okay, let's look at sold. So there's 2 lessons here. This is what eBay is recommending. That's 1, right? So these 8 have the highest likelihood of selling. And let's look at what's sold. Here's a pre-owned jacket that sold for $53.
But it's ACG.
I know, ACG is nice.
Which is kind of, you know, they're either old or they just rarely release them. So,
yep.
But that's what's good about doing something like this. So people, it's not, not all Nike is created equal. Same with the shoes.
So then, Chris, I have a question about the pricing. You've got an item that from a comp standpoint is priced properly and it's not selling and you've lowered the price and now it's so low, you're wondering, would anyone take it seriously? But the comps are still supporting your original price. What's the solution? To delist and relist the item, which you guys don't like to do? Or just
what is the, tell me what, okay, give me an example of what you think that is on this Nike sweater. So this Nike sweater, right? What are we thinking? I think $20.
I think I was going to say 1995.
Okay. Do you consider 1995 comparable with the comps that we see so far?
I'm zooming in here. Yeah, well, there's a
So
lot of crossed out lines.
some
here.
sold for 20, some 22,
Yeah.
a couple 40, 36.
My guess is it's going to put me not at the top of the pack unless I promote it.
Okay. There's 8,200 that have sold.
Yeah.
And there are 31,000 for sale. So what would you price this at 1999?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Let's see.
Under 20.
Okay. So I'm just curious. You would price it at 1999. There are 31,000 sweaters. If I priced it at 1998, which is 1 penny less than you, 20,000 sweaters are eliminated.
I said 1995, so that might make a difference, but it's still too many.
No, but that's still a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yes.
we're talking like you're saying, oh, it should sell. But let's look at the solds here on this number at 1998. 3,200. So this is interesting. The sell-through rate on under $20 sweater, still horrible. It's only 10%.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then let's look here. Let's keep going. Because this is race to the bottom because there's so many Nike sweatshirts. You could look for it, but let's try 1498.
I do think, was it Beth that said it? I do think like a brand like Nike is going to be one that you might want to throw those couple extra, promote it. Instead of promoting it 2, you might want to promote it at 5 or 10 if you can. And back to Julie's question, it's like you got to leave it where it lays, or you got to get it for a lower buy cost, or you got to be willing to take a lower profit. It's just kind of that basic.
Okay, you guys ready? I just did the math. If you price your Nike sweatshirt at over $20, it has a 5% sell-through rate. Okay, that's not very good. That's per month. So if you had 100 Nike sweatshirts over $20, you would only sell 5 per month on average. It's very low. If you price your Nike sweatshirt at $19.98, on average, you have a 10% sell-through rate. So if you had 100 Nike sweatshirts, instead of selling 5, you would sell 10 on average. And then under $14.99, you would have a 20% sell-through rate each month. So at 100, you have 20 that sell per month. Hey, let's keep going for a second. Let's see what the sell-through rate is at $10. Okay, there's 1,300 Nike sweatshirts that are under $10. Let's look at the sell-through. 785. Ooh, much better. So that's 260 out of. Okay, no, this is even better. You guys ready? Under $10, still 20% sell-through rate. So Jen, there's your answer.
Yeah.
The price of Nike sweatshirt at 10 or 15, it might sell at the same speed. It's not like way better. Oh, $5 because maybe it doesn't matter. Nike sweatshirt's worth more than 15 if it's in good condition. So 10 or 15 is still a good deal to the customer. So this is where someone goes, I have my Nike sweatshirt price is $7 and still nobody wants it. It's not that nobody wants it. It's just going to take 5 months to sell. There's too many of them.
Yeah, I recently ran into this with a Madewell linen blend t-shirt. And it had been on eBay for over a year and a half. And I kept pricing it down and down. And I kept wondering why it wouldn't sell, because the sell-through on this style, I couldn't find this color. Maybe that was it. And I finally said, well, hell, I actually imported it into Poshmark and sold it for $15. And it was at $630 on eBay. And I sold it within 3 days. And I was like, I know that doesn't usually happen that way, but I knew there was something wrong. And I'd gone through that listing many, many, many times. It was promoted at 15%, and I still couldn't sell it. So I just did the last best thing, which was put it on another venue, and it did sell at a much better price. But I know I'm not going to do that to all of my listings that don't sell, obviously. But I was just wondering, is there, and I could have delisted it and relisted it. But I part of me was just, I don't know why I didn't do that. I probably should have just done that. But I don't know if that would have solved it anyway.
So there's a couple of things, comments that are interesting on YouTube. V Branson Design says, I don't think customers check sold comps. The reason why I looked at it without going straight to the solds was to show that. So V Branson, hopefully you're still here. When I typed in Nike sweatshirt, I looked at the first 8 sweatshirts that Nike recommend or that eBay recommended to me. I didn't look at the solds first. I looked at what's available first. So customers look at what's available first, always, because that's how you search. So you want to look at what eBay is recommending first to get an idea of what people are seeing. Because if you have a fantastic listing, but you don't show up in the search, you're not going to get the sale. It has to show up. So people in the chat are saying they would price it between $24.99 and $29.99. Prepare for insanely slow sales. If you list all your Nike hoodies between $24.99 and $29.99, even if they're all cool, there's too much competition. Do you want?
What shipping is on that? Clarify that. Free shipping or
Plus shipping.
plus shipping?
$24.99 to $29.99 on used Nike plus shipping. We're talking, you'd be lucky to sell 5 out of 100.
Yeah, if you noticed everyone that sold in that range, it was either like the one was like specifically Air Force One branded, the other one was ACG branded. Like they all had something special. They all had a keyword that kind of was just a little bit different. You know, none of them selling up there was. Could you do that same search? Like, for example, kind of do the same breakdown, but like just select XL, just to kind of like
I can do that.
Just to
And
like
then
show somebody.
I have to answer
the
2
difference.
questions in the chat, which is awesome. These are 2 great questions. Where does shipping fit in all of this? It's included in total price. So as a buyer, most buyers look at total price. How much is shipping? How much is the item? They look at both. So it's important to have a reasonable shipping if you don't want to piss off your customer. $16.10 to me is too expensive for a hoodie. That might make me not buy that sweatshirt. Another question is from Lisa. Where are you going to get really cheap Nike sweatshirts to make money at $15? Girl, there's like, for any thrift store in America, every single thrift store in America. Sorry, my wife says I'm getting excited. Every single thrift store in America, you can find a sweatshirt that makes money at 15 plus shipping on a Nike, every single one. Also, you're competing against people who have a Nike sweatshirt in their closet. You know, like you'll hear people all the time say, I just want to clear out my closet. I'll sell my Nike sweatshirts for $5 plus shipping. Tons of them. I'm actually curious before we move on to the XL, which I really like what Landon had recommended. I think that how many people, let's look. Let's go here. Ready? What do you guys think? How many sweatshirts on eBay for Nike are under $5? I bet there's still a lot. Let's look. There's still 125. What's the sell-through rate for under $5? Oh, I broke eBay. Oh my God, look at that. 1% sell-through daily. There we go, fam. Everyone was saying, how do you get 1% sell-through rate? You ready? High quality Nike sweatshirt, $5 plus shipping. You can still make it work at the Goodwill bins. You can still get a Nike hoodie for $2 or $3. $5 plus shipping is like a $1 profit. Yeah, Nancy, a lot of them are at auction, but this is sold. So this means the auction ended under $5. So 125. But look, what I'm saying is look at the number of items that actually sold at, let's see. Yeah. Wow. 163. That's awesome. And some of these Nike hoodies are good. Like this is a really nice hoodie, only sold for $1.99. And those of you that are in the group will know a couple of reasons why it didn't sell very well. But also look at the shipping, $15. So it really sold for $17. Wow, so interesting. Ah, that person was sneaky. Look at that. Look at, they ran an auction, right? And they put the shipping at 15 and they got away with it. So that's interesting. Okay. Red says, don't run auctions in the flooded market. Usually not, but people are looking for 1% sell-through rate, but they're not willing to price it at the 1% sell-through rate. They want to price it at full market and get the 1% sell-through rate. So that's the problem. So as an example, if you do, so Lisa is saying she lives in England and they don't have anything as good as thrift stores. You do. It's different, but you do. We have a UK-based call that there's one next week with Z. You guys have charity shops, you have boot sales, and there's plenty of ways to get bulk clothing because people in England still wear clothes. It's not different. And there is no place that you can go to and people will just hand you profitable items. It takes work. Breath of Home says, don't shop at Savers. Their name brand clothing is jacked up. You know what, Breath of Home? There are other people that say, only shop at Savers. Use the coupon that they have at the end of the month, at the end of the week. Always look in certain sections. And because at $9 and $19.99, look for the items that are $50 and over in that section. Shout out to the Posh Hanger. On her thrifting route, the heavy hitter is Savers. So it's different for everyone. There is no rule like that. Maya, what's up?
Good morning. I couldn't figure out how to say this succinctly in the chat, but in my quest to try and learn how to list faster, I've been doing like bracketing pricing. So I just have been going to Terapeak and searching like women's shirts, super non-specific, like not even brand specific. And I, have been using like that a little less than the average pricing for whatever it comes up with for like a 365. And I know that isn't going to help it. I've also like heard tech say like, you don't learn what makes a hoodie special, like if you're not actually looking at the real sold comps and you're only using Terapeak. But I guess, is there a sweet spot between those? A lot of times I feel like, okay, that average is at $18.99 for a women's top. But a lot of the stuff I have, I'm like, this isn't worth that much. It's only worth $9.99 or whatever.
One price point that I think, a long time ago, I used to listen to Nicole State, and I think she figured out that at $12 free shipping, almost any clothing item sells fast. If it's in good condition, decent brand, $12 free shipping sells fast. So if you go like 100% Goodwill Bins model or 100% garage sale model, you'll have a really, really high sell-through rate if you price there. I don't think that's the sweet spot. I think the sweet spot, this is maybe top secret, but I think it's between $12 and $25 plus shipping for 99% of items on eBay. 22 or $12 to $25 plus shipping is like most of stuff on eBay sells for that amount. So if you're, that's just, it depends on the item. And I would never use them. Like Bill's talking about using a multiplier. Don't use a multiplier because it's different. So there's such a variance that you can't do that. Kevin's asking, can you source from your eBay customers? You can. So like some people will include an insert saying, hey, I get all of my items from customers like you, or from charity shops, or from local church sales. So if you have items like this, I'm willing to buy it from you. It works best, Kevin, in collectible markets. So if you have, if you're selling rare toys, the person buying rare toys probably has rare toys that you could buy. You can also DM them on eBay and say, thank you so much for buying an item from me. Here's a 10% coupon to buy something else from my store. Also, by the way, I'm down to buy items from your store, from you to resell on eBay, totally within eBay rules after you make a sale, not before though. So it's a good idea. You can also email them. It is spammy to email somebody with their email that you get from eBay. So just keep it short and don't make it make it the least sleazy email you can. Just be like, hey, thank you for your purchase. Here's a coupon for future sales. I get all my stuff and I buy collections. Here's my contact information. And ideally, this is what I pay for items. That way they don't have to go back and forth. Kevin, they will get mad at you and suspend you or give you a policy violation if you do it before the sale. Has to be after the sale. You can't do it before. But so you asked them basically if you can include it in their package, which means they've already bought something from you. So in the UK, it's different. They don't have pay by the pound from my understanding, which is what Goodwill bins are. And it's not just the Goodwill bins that do pay by the pound. That's just one of the, it's like the brand name of pay by the pound. Lots of companies do pay by the pound. And I'm sure in the UK is a big place. There is a pay by the pound area, but there's also different things. I've seen sort of like credentialized clothing in the UK a lot. And credentialized clothing is like where they make bales and sell things by grades, like A grade, B grade, C grade, D grade. People in the UK buy that kind of stuff all the time. I don't know where it is. I'm not there, but that's something that maybe you can discuss on the UK call on every other. It's the second and fourth Wednesday, and the first and third Wednesday is Australia. So Australia call coming up. Let's see. You realized a long time ago, if you're doing what everyone else can do, the competition will be endless. Agreed. Try to sell stuff that's more difficult to find if you can. You're welcome, Kevin. Does it have to be kept within eBay? No. After you sell something, you can use their email to market to them. But there are laws against spamming people. So like, it really should just be a thank you email. Thank you for your business. By the way. So if the email purpose is not is like an advertisement, then I think it's illegal. You're allowed to send a thank you email though. It's also not like, I wouldn't report you to the whoever, the FTC. I wouldn't report you to the FTC if you sent me a thank you email. It's not egregious. Shane, what's up? Yes, you can send an email using their email, not just directly through the eBay system. Luke says he buys by the kilo, and Sam in the chat says there's loads of UK vintage clothing wholesale. There's also loads of UK modern clothing wholesale. There's everything. It just people don't talk about it as much. People talk about the vintage more because it sells for a higher dollar amount, or sorry, a higher. Would you guys use that term? Probably not. Higher sales amount. But this is great. Lisa in the chat really nailed it. Like pricing, I think that's probably what most people on eBay do. They just price at a really high amount and hope for a best offer. It usually won't work though. Jeannie, what's up?
So getting back to the pricing, kind of my methodology with like clothes. So, you know, I have two niches, right? But with clothes, I don't generally have anything spectacularly awesome, right? It's just your common stuff. So I do Terapeak and I look at the sold and I look at the actives. And it seems on average, the difference between the active price and the sold price is usually going to be around 20%. Mm-hmm. So I usually almost always will try to price it underneath the average of what is active, knowing I'm probably going to get what the sold average is. And that's generally how it's gone. I also run a coupon all the time, constantly, which very few people use, but it's still there, right? And whoever was talking about, you know, like you said, I think Texie was said it too, how much you make on an item is almost based on what you pay for it. So, you know, I'm kind of with you. I don't even consider how much I paid for it
when I'm talking about pricing, because sometimes I just had a bad buy. It's just going to suck. It doesn't really matter what it
Okay.
is.
That's really profound. Yeah, definitely. How much you make is based on what you pay for it, but what you price is not based on what you paid for it.
Exactly.
So let me give you an example. When I went to Lululemon and I bought a big lot, and the lady told me that there's a couple of styles that I should buy, even though I won't make money. And she was right. There were a couple of leggings that I purchased for $74.99 and I sold for $59.99. And it was awesome. It was an awesome loss leader. People came in. I only had 2 or 3 of those. They sold and lost money. But there's so many people who would have bought those leggings at $74.99 and priced them at $99.99 just to make a profit, and they would have never sold because the market's $59.99. It was just to get the deal going. And what you make on the item is based on what you paid. I lost money because I paid too much for it. But the items I bought for $29.99 and $19.99 that sold for $59.99, those are awesome, but that's me getting the deal when you purchase it up front. But again, don't price your items based on what you paid for it. That's just how much you make. So somehow you have to separate what you make from what you price it at. Shell's World.
Sorry, a couple of weeks ago, you were talking about, about Whatnot and how much what you've learned from Whatnot about bringing people in, about visibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of considered that too with my store. And some of the stuff I'm dealing with in my store is there are, like you said, there are loss leaders, but those are helping bring people in. It's crazy how that works, but sometimes it is worth it to have a loss leader in there because it does bring people in and they start looking around at what you have. And so that's just something also to consider, but that's not considering for pricing, but just something to think about.
Does everybody have, everyone's familiar with Costco, the Costco rotisserie chicken. I think it cost them like $7.80 to fulfill that chicken. They get their asses kicked. They lose millions of dollars on that chicken and does not make money. There's no way $5 for a rotisserie chicken that's not profitable, but it's at the back of the store. So you have to go in and do it. You can't, it's a loss leader. Shell's World's asking a really good question. What do you do if you've taken a 3-month break from eBay and you want to get back into it? She has 800 listings. Should she drip them back in or feed it all back in? It actually doesn't matter. You want to get all those listings back on, but the key is consistent listing for 7 days. So if your sales are slow or you just came back from a vacation, all you have to do is 7 days of listing fresh items in your store that are not in your previous 800. I would just, if I had 800 listings and I was returning back to eBay and I had a listing goal of, let's say 10, I probably would do either launch all 800 listings day 1 and then do 10 a day. And after 7 days, my store would be turned back on. Or I guess I could do 110 a day for 8 days. 100, go ahead. Okay, I don't know if she was meant to say something. I would do 100 a day of the 800 plus 10 fresh ones for 8 days, something like that. Because it just takes a week for your store to turn back on. We've been doing this for a while. No one lists consistently for a week new, fresh, good items, and it doesn't work. So Lisa is saying a charity shop near here is charging $7.99 for Umbro shirts. That doesn't matter. Your job is to go to the thrift store and find the underpriced items. How many people are listening right now have gone to a charity shop or a thrift store and they priced something too high? Come on, like all of us. That's your job. Lisa, if you went to a store and it said, this is Lisa's section, and you go over there and every single item is profitable, I've never seen that ever. There's no profits. Can you go to the profit store? Can't do it. There's no profit store, guys. The profit is mixed in with the garbage. Got to go in there and figure it out. When you price items super low, you feel like people assume the item is less. Yeah, that's called assumed value. So like if you price Gucci at $30 in free shipping, doesn't seem legit because who would do that? It's priced too low. Right. There's no, everything is hard. So you have to go through, and as like somebody said, never shop at Savers, and then you triggered like 10 people in the chat because they only shop at Savers. It just depends. You have to get good at whatever your niche. Like there's like I would say if you go to the jewelry district in every single city, there's a place that sells wedding rings and diamonds, and you could go there and your average acquisition cost would be like 1,000 or 2,000. You could still make money even though you pay $1,000 per item. So sometimes people are afraid to pay up for the really good items. A couple of the Savers tips that came up were Savers, although they have a high price per item in the front, they sometimes have nicer items. So you can find a $50 or $100 item that they don't know about, versus Goodwill, maybe their initial price is lower. Savers is a subsidiary. I mean, is it Thrift Town? That's the other one that's associated with Savers. It's a for-profit thrift store.
Yeah, me and Brian actually both in the shoe call. We almost both
Value
had,
Village. Thank you. Sorry.
me and Brian kind of both had the same story of when they have the special marked price items at the Goodwill, and that the average person coming in there that's not a reseller, or sometimes even the resellers, you know, they see, like the other day I bought a pair of Jordans that were kind of rare. I paid $74.99. They sold for $250 within the week. And how many people looked at those shoes as just average shoppers and went, that's ridiculous. Good. They got them for free and they're charging $74.99. And Brian segued in with the same story that actually he saw a pair of Nikes that were priced a little high. And he came back like 3 days later and they were still sitting there. And he decided to look at them that time. And they were $300 like old Nike boots. And they were still sitting there. And I think they were only like $25 into $300. So, I mean, a lot of times, you know, a lot of these people, you know, they're putting their nose in there when they see that, but yeah, that's why they call it cherry picking.
Okay, so I want to.
Chris, I just want to say that yeah, like somebody like me, like I prefer like Savers over the Goodwill all day, every day. That's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I like Savers. It's organized really well. You can go through the jeans section in 10 minutes.
Right.
So okay, this is the advice I'm going to give for the end of the call, which is if the item is super duper hot, lots of people are looking for it. Okay, then I am comfortable. I mean, personally, comfortable pricing it towards the top of the market and just waiting. There's enough people looking for it. So people were mentioning, depends on what kind of Nike sweater. Really cool Nike sweater. Okay, maybe wait a little bit longer. So that Nike sweater, maybe price it at $24.99 and accept an offer of 20 plus shipping. Really, really cool. People are looking for it. They want to look through all 8,000 sweaters and find the coolest one. You have the coolest one, go for it. But if it's super duper saturated, maybe accept $12 plus shipping on that hoodie and move on with your day. Still profitable. If it's just a regular Nike sweater with a swoosh on the breast pocket, nothing fancy, I don't know if you should wait for all the money. Last question, somebody's asking, you struggle with shipping. You feel like free shipping attracts more customers. It does. Free shipping attracts more customers, but it's not necessary. It doesn't make people buy. Like the only thing you can do is some people do on the left side navigation, click free shipping. And if you charge shipping, your listing will be removed from their search. So if you want all of the searches, you would do free shipping, but it's not required. Definitely not required. So Silver Bushman, this is a good one. We'll end with this one. SNES Complete System, $129 is the average sold. He has one at $139 with 2 games and it's not selling. So what you could do there, if it really sells at $129 over and over again, you could sell it at $129 and you could be creative and sell those 2 games separately, right? Or what I would do $129 and include the 2 games. That's what I mean, $10, I will get the sale right now. So it depends on how you look at it. you can always be proactive. Today's podcast is going to be a banger. So if you guys want to listen to it, it's at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We record it live. I'm really excited about talking about, I want 129 right now. I'm not waiting 3 months for 139. No way. Something sells really well at 129. I'm pricing it at 129. I'm not going to price it at 139. Adding in the extra games, you're actually lowering the value for somebody that doesn't want those 2 games. You know, it's interesting, right? You have to find somebody that wants those 2 games and that system, which is extremely unlikely. Alex says people with no money want free shipping. That's not necessarily true. I like free shipping. Actually, I don't have money either. So maybe that's true. Interesting. So Breadth of Home is saying that their savers is highly lacking. There's somebody who goes to your savers and gets all the good items. It's impossible. Every single store has great items. Just the nature of our country. Don't make me come to where you live and find something valuable in your savers. I'll do it. Don't do it. So okay.
That sounds like an awesome YouTube.
I know.
Like,
I thought about it. It costs so much money to do that it's not worth proving my point. Silver Bushman. Okay, the reason why I would take the 129 right now is because you can flip that money again. It's only a $10 difference, right? So if you are at 129 versus 139, take the 129 now and go buy a few more items and flip those. Let the person who buys it at 129 get an extra 2 games. Make them super duper happy.
So why not get 119 then, Chris?
Well, I mean, if you're trying SNES, that's hot.
No, I'm just saying, like, if someone wants to give you 119, do you take that too?
Oh, that's true. I take it all day.
I know. And then you'd also probably take 109 as well.
That's right. I take 99. Let's go.
That's what I'm saying. So my next question for you. So you're on the T, Chris. Prepare yourself.
How low will you go?
I just put you on the T. Are you ready, Chris?
79.99 is how low I'll go. I don't
Hold on, Chris, you went deeper on the T. You lined yourself up. So what about my Jordan 4 Motorsports or whatever's that I sold immediately? You're nah, dude.
I'd rather set them on fire. I thought about that. Your Nike Motorsports kept me up at night. I would at least need 74.99, or I'd rather set them on fire. I look at that sometimes.
Right? People make me 80, right?
That happened in I have these PlayStation shoes that are worth about 500. Not a crazy one, just a normal PlayStation Air Force. Somebody offered 250, and I literally was thinking, I literally would rather throw them away than let you have them for 250. It's insulting to me. But like, here's the thing: I would have accepted 400.
Yeah.
It's interesting looking at the what you will accept and what you won't accept. It depends on how many there are. I mean, there's a lot to it. But those of you on YouTube, thank you. We're going to switch back to our private call, which is the beginner call, starts now. Appreciate everybody. Today's podcast is going to be really good. On YouTube, it comes out on Fridays, and I'll try to get the podcast up